And Prodigy were the last place team coming in through that qualifier to come into this league.
No, absolutely. 8% is probably a little bit generous, which just goes to show how lopsided this affair will likely be. GG as well, kicking off on defense. And Border can be brutal for map entry against really strong teams that are great in denying a lot of those key entry points. And I am very much assuming that GAIMIN Gladiators will go in with the playstyle of denying as much map control as humanly possible across this first 6 rounds. The ban phase is going to be quite intriguing. I'm probably anticipating a double shield ban, and if not, the Monty to follow, probably Dockerby, I would assume, again, for the whole map entry discussion.
Oh, wow.
Actually, it's Deimos. Probably not a bad shout either, right? Border has so much soft destruction that the Deimos could have impact from literally any position on the map, whether it be horizontal or vertically, so I don't mind that. And it also may mean that the likes of Faulty, for instance, won't be targeted as heavily, especially if he's having a good day, or one of the other players on the team, of course, as well. Miro to follow up, pretty traditional here on Border, bit of a mainstay ban. And the Valkyrie, so information will be a little bit more limited, of course, now with Solus being literally hit with a nuclear bomb. That does actually free up GAIMIN Gladiators to have a lot more variety in terms of defensive bans, because for the longest time, almost every single map, they would insta-ban the Solus, but not to be anymore.
Yeah, especially on Border. Like, this was the map where, at the time, Bliss really pioneered in OCE the way that they would use their pre-placed drones to take that quick map control and play vertically from below. I expect we will see a little bit of vertical game, likely from the Buck in the absence of the Deimos. I really like that Deimos ban here for Prodigy. I think it's so cheeky. The way that Deimos has come into the meta in the last 6 months has really impressed me. One of the funnest operators, one of the most creative operators. And if you have a good Deimos player and you can work him with the rest of the team to find those kills and target those roamers, it can be really powerful. However, we talked about how the Blitz got banned out. Not a double shield ban, though. The Monty slipped through. This is the first game that GG have played where the Monty has been allowed through the ban phase.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion around shields recently, and I think the general consensus, at least that I agree with, is shields tend to... How do I frame it? They make the good teams look better and the bad teams look worse. And the depth behind that being that good teams with the Monty, create space. If the team works there, you can find picks, isolate players, really helps facilitate map entry. However, a team that doesn't properly play around the shield often can look stalled out. They won't get very good value from the shield play. And equally, defensively and countering it, good teams that are able to establish crossfires and dump utility in the correct positions with the right timing can more often than not counter the shields. But if you're having a rough day defensively, shields can wreak havoc. So I'm excited to see what GG can bring to the table. I don't think it really changes the discussion too much in terms of their likelihood of winning the match. In fact, I'm expecting to see a really, good, strong defense here that deals with the shield effectively.
Now, of course, at the end of the day, GG on their worst map and Prodigy on their best map would still be a GG favored match. Yeah. That's just a skill differential between these two rosters. However, if we want to start building up some hype for Prodigy, they did play Border in their opening game against Odium. They slapped them silly 7-1. They used that blitz really effectively, which is why GG have banned it here. And now instead, they're going to be utilizing this Monty. And it's Dave, of course, the captain of the team, who's on that Montaigne at the moment, looking at this crossfire. The Warden, though, will look through the smoke and try and find a shot onto this Ash that's hiding behind this Monty. It looks like Dave is literally just holding on to his position. A C4 over the top, big from Tuhan, and immediately Bait goes down.
Yeah, I mean, this really isn't a cross that you can break without break room control, funnily enough, to actually force Wettables out of this position. So really well played there by GG. Maybe a lurk, though, could disrupt. Mackenzie looking to push his way up main stairs. Logic Bomb goes through. Tuhan under pressure.
He's outside. He doesn't have a way back in safely. Faulty will take him down. And here comes the Monty, big from Dave. And maybe Prodigy have their in. 4 versus 2 now, and Brendo's looking desperate. As you can hear, that plant starts to go down. Wettables is caught in such an awkward position. Dave knows he doesn't have to overcommit to the plant here. He instead has to scare off this player. What's going on there? Mackenzie almost whiffs his opportunity, but now it's a 1v4 for poor Wet Tables. And this is not the start that GG were expecting. Prodigy, for a team that was bottom of the qualifiers, now they're looking like a real contest in this match. Already so strong in the opening round, and let's be real, there's very little chance that Wettables wins this.
I might be throwing production under the bus here a little bit, but I'd love to see if we have it a replay of the free cam from Wettables. Like, what position was he playing where he got forced out and didn't have the cross for Tuhan anymore? Because the Monty was allowed to go deep, made this really awkward play. Now, I'm talking as if the round is over. It now officially is, Mackenzie on the rappel. But I'm really intrigued because that cross, to me, looked so difficult to break down without like a break control or maybe a lurk up main to unlock that position in through security. Yet, we flick back, Dave's in sight, and then Tuhan gets sideswiped out of nowhere.
I want to know how Tuhan and Dave switched places like that. Because, Tuhan was literally caught between a Monty on the inside of the site that he couldn't go back into, or players outside the site while he's detected. So, not a great position from Tui. GG a little bit confused in that round, despite finding the opening pick, which we mentioned was actually Prodigy's advantage in their previous games. And once Dave had killed Tuhan, I mean, this was GG.
You could see in the outline, Wet was still playing over towards Shelf. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how he's been allowed to cross there. Maybe it was just some awkward timing, bad timing on Wet's part. Again, there may have been distraction elsewhere that he was being aware of, or whatever the case may be. But still, that was a really powerful position from GG. Credit to Prodigy in being able to break that down.
Standings if Prodigy win outright. Gaming Gladiators down to 4th. Okay, bro. Yeah. I wouldn't imagine that would happen. GG just need to get 1 point here to stay at the top of the standings. But really, any points dropped in this match would be a real confusing result for GG. We expect them to be dominant here. We expect them to top this league. And anything less than that is a disappointment for Gaming Gladiators.
Absolutely. We were talking a little bit, I was talking with the OBS team, before this game in terms of like a score prediction. And I gave Prodigy some respect. I expected, I believe I said a 7-3 in favor of GG.
I love how that's respect, giving them 3 rounds.
Again, full-time overseas team.
Yeah.
They seem to be of the inclination that Prodigy might struggle to even get a round.
Damn.
So they've already at least gotten 1, and it was, again, in the face of a difficult-to-break-down defense. So maybe there's some legs in this match, but it's very hard to get too excited too early in a day that could be Goliath. We've been disappointed many times before, Nos.
Yeah, but I still think that Prodigy should be proud of what they've done, even just getting such a convincing first round. And they've already shown that they're dangerous with the shields. I believe it was in an interview after the first play day, one of the Prodigy players said, I think it might have been Mackenzie, he said that Dave is one of the best shield players in the region. And I think a lot of people might have scoffed at that, but he's starting to prove it so far. He knows when not to over-aggress, and he knows how to apply the pressure and wait for his teammate to deliver the killing blow. As we're starting to see these players on this roam pinched on out, Tuhan doesn't want to over-peek. He knows a Monty's pushing him from Armory, and there's someone on the other side. He's desperate to try and get a little bit more value out of this roam before falling back.
Yeah, good performance yesterday from Tui. Goes into this play day as the equal highest rated player in the league alongside Brendo, 141 EPS. Has a really good survival rate as well, 55%. And we saw yesterday, I think at one point he was 10-0 on Bank. They had a good outing, able to find some form. Brendo, though, does fall first, and it may well be the other highest rated player to fall as well. Tuhan under a lot of pressure and gets caught. That is, again, another really clean clear from Prodigy.
That is beautiful hammer and anvil strategy from Prodigy. They just push these players down that hatch, and Faulty is ready to receive on the other side. A 2-player advantage with 1 minute left to play. Prodigy look to be in the driving seat of this round.
This so often tends to be where sometimes against the likes of a GG with a 1 or a 2-man advantage in towards the late round, weaker, less experienced teams will often fall short. You look at the ability for this team to anchor the likes of Fisho still up, Wet, even Sage, who perhaps has been a little bit out of form but can still be very dangerous at times. Teams can sometimes find it challenging to still break this down. So we'll see how they go. 30 seconds and the shield's still up.
Yeah, and another pick for Mackenzie. Prodigy are inching closer.
I'm getting excited, Dev.
I don't know when to get excited, but I got to admit, I'm starting to feel that tingle. Here comes Sage, and he gets the backstab on the Monty, finishes him off too. But it might not be enough, as he has been traded on back, leaving it all up to Fisho Guy. They know exactly where he is. They do need to pick up that diffuser. 10 seconds in it to play, and Mackenzie has the round on lock. Look at these guys. The amateurs, the Tier 2 Kings are back and looking fiery against the best of the region.
Wow, okay. We're 2 rounds in, and both rounds so far, they haven't... this is very Australianism level analysis. They haven't bullshitted their way through these rounds. They have broken down and played really calculated siege, best example, I think, was there onto Tuhan. They had enough pressure from the shield, force him down the hatch, and there's a player waiting front door. They catch him, good timing, great communication. It was low risk. Here was maybe where it got a little bit dicey. Davey not expecting the push through main door, but they had garnered such a huge advantage in the round and had a read as to where Sage was. They immediately flush him out, get a free pick. Fisher left last alive, and they make it look really clinical. This is a really, really good showing. And GG, it's going to take a lot to see them crack. Again, it's only play day 3. They're not going to be getting too stressed out, certainly not at this point in time. But, I don't know, if Prodigy can keep chipping away and force an early tactical timeout and then maybe get the round after that, the prospect of, at minimum, pushing OT in this match, if they continue to play at this level of Siege, gets quite enticing.
And the biggest surprise, the biggest impressive thing about this game is, like you said, Prodigy, they're not cheesing this. They're not doing anything we've never seen before. They're not doing anything crazy. They're just playing really good fundamental Siege.
Right, they're playing the meta.
They are playing the meta, yes, with the Monty. But even if you take the Monty out of the equation, all of the rest of these Prodigy players, they're playing together. They're communicating. They're holding their shots. They're doing the fundamentals, getting vert, finding vert kills. They're not overcommitting. They're not getting ego about it. They're just playing this thoroughly.
So the Monty will reappear here round 3. Glaz also in the composition here for the attack. That may help on some of these exterior fights. Mackenzie can be self-proficient if he has brought smoke grenades. Nomad as well for flank watch potentially as well. So Trippin may look to... He could also solo lurk as well if that's his inclination. So the Glaz in play on Repel, and Davey again to scout ahead on the shield. Similar cross again. It's Tuhan and Wedables. Last time, this broke down. Some poor timing, maybe a bad call, allowed Davey to push forward. We'll see if it happens again.
What are you doing, Fish? Peeking into the Glaz.
You've got the Warden there.
Early pick for Prodigy. And now Tuhan has to make good on this Warden. As you said, he's found Davey.
That's big.
Yeah, that is a big pick. It's the Monty. It's been the cornerstone of every Prodigy attack so far, but they still have this Glaz. However, they are out of smokes. It was only the Monty running the smokes, and Bake just peeks. The new kid on the block. Big opening kill for him.
And they know Wedables is there. This Wedables is in a terrible position now.
They can peek him at the same time. Faulty goes in and finds that pick. Perfect use of the gadget from Zafia. GG, you're falling apart. All up to Brendo, the best player in the region. Against 4, and he's found his first. Low HP, and finished off with the backstab from Glaz. Prodigy are dominating every single one of these rounds. And GAIMIN Gladiators have been forced to take a tactical timeout.
I don't think Titan's going to be joining the voice call with too many nice things to say. Not too many pleasantries to be exchanged over the next 60 seconds, I don't think.
Just have a look at the faces of this squad as Titan absolutely rips into them in the voice call.
I think I still stand by my analysis of those positions in the cross and the Warden positioning as being good, but the way they're playing it is just so uncharacteristic of GG. Like, where the hell was Fisher going? Why was he running out in the open? Then Tuhan gets Ferrari picked. That was a little bit more forgivable. But during that entire time, just like last time, Wedables is just having zero impact in that position. I can understand he can't swing because the window repel, etc., but just had zero impact in that position. And his position had a really good read, and it was a free kill for Prodigy. He doesn't even get a 1 in that round. So something is just fundamentally wrong, either maybe in the setup, maybe that just needs to be scrapped in the strat book, or the way that they've implemented it this evening just isn't standing up to these attacks.
The only thing I can imagine is maybe a bit of forgiveness for Fisher Guy for swinging into that smoke is that we did see Prodigy smoke that angle in the first round, and there was no Glaz. It was just a way of trying to break that crossfire you were talking about. So perhaps Fish just didn't respect that there might be a Glaz on the other side. And I think now GG have to realize, okay, Prodigy actually have some good ideas up their sleeve. We can't disrespect them like that. We can't make any assumptions. If we see a smoke, we have to think maybe there's a Glaz on the other side of it. We need our Warden to be the one peeking that. We can't have Fisher Guy sprinting and giving up the numbers advantage. Maybe GG need to go back to the drawing board. They can't rely on their setups as they currently exist. They need to start thinking about the way Prodigy are playing and looking to counter that. And at least for the first time, guys, we are seeing them change away from Armory, away from Vents, they're going down to Teller's Archives, and they might be able to utilize a bit more of a roam, a bit more of that fluid playstyle that we know GG can be so good at, because this border has looked so bloody claustrophobic so far.
So, hot off the tack timeout, important to note that before the introduction of Titan, Gaming Gladiators, known as Bliss at the time, actually had one of the worst conversion rates post-tactical timeout. Some teams at the international level have huge boosts in performances straight out of a tactical timeout. Wasn't the case for Gaming Gladiators, especially overseas. So we'll see if that's been something they've been able to amend now with Titan in the fold. What they'll be able to bring to the table here for the 4th round. For Prodigy Esports, though, it's going to be more so just keeping this momentum up, keeping up this pressure. The fundamentals of it looked really good. And just continue to minimize mistakes. Unfortunately, a mistake rather, does creep in there over towards detention wall, which will remain closed. That does just limit a bit of lurk potential. Horizontally on the other side of the map, not the absolute end of the world, though. It's too hard to play initial contact here.
Oh! Bit of damage early onto that Monty's feet, but not very much, and immediately a reply. Low HP now on Tuhan as he starts to fall away. Trippin finds the opening kill, but it is not without a reply from GG as Dave is getting in. A little bit of chip damage here and there again. Prodigy are using these smokes really nicely to try and enable these entries. Another impact takes Dave even lower, but he's still got enough HP to stand a fighting chance in a lot of engagements as the Monty.
Yeah, interesting, right? GG not leaning into the warden this time around. We've seen a lot of smoke play from Prodigy, which is not particularly characteristic in OCE. We don't see a ton of play around smokes, generally speaking. And so maybe just something they just thrown this defense off guard. Davey again will march forward. He's looked really good tonight. Trippin, meanwhile, over towards that waiting room position on the 2nd floor. And with that, Prodigy will have control up above. 4 versus 4. And GG will look to consolidate, interestingly, playing a double position over towards Workshop. We'll see if that's something Prodigy look to clear. Could perhaps may go more direct towards site, try to force that defense back into them for the retake.
Oh, they're so close here. Bake doesn't realize it, but there's a player just peeking around his corner, and if Fish gets this kill, he could flip the switch. He's got a shotgun as well to make lines of sight.
Don't think they can clear that BPC either, so it might make things tough.
Yeah, the thing is, there's still no explosives on GG to try and take out this Monty. Realistically, very little chance of killing Dave in a 1 versus 1 fight. But Tuhan's gone for a big flank, and there he is! Coming up from the other side, he's found his double, and this has unlocked the round for GG. He needs to try and get away with his life. Trippin will catch him on the retreat. But the damage may be done by GG. Prodigy just need to rely on these entries, but it's only a 2 versus 2, and that makes it so winnable. A good flash now for Trippin as he drops down into sight. The bulletproof camera spotting him out. As Sage has gone down, it's a 1v2, and Trippin will not let Fisho pass! How are Prodigy manhandling GAIMIN Gladiators?
And that BPC still standing. GG had a perfect read on that entire push, which got stalled out for so long. Tuhan able to hit the flank, then a fantastic wallbang to get that response. But then the util layering again for that last portion of the round from Prodigy was absolutely spot on. Those flashbangs were a huge difference maker in facilitating that drop. They then got the advantage, had a read on the last player, 2 versus 1, favorable position despite that info on the board. They're playing really well. And again, the util layering across the entire portion of these rounds has been rather strong. Now again, like detention obviously wasn't the case, but the smokes have been really impressive.
This was the flank that could have been the determining factor, but Prodigy was so ready for it. Trippin had a huge end to this round. This was a big moment as well, dropping down the site. Have a listen to the comms as Prodigy won this.
Nice!
That's utter disbelief. That's
yeah, I know.
That's all you can describe that. They cannot believe they are 4-0 against the 5-time international event attendees, 6-time international event attendees, the best team in the region. Prodigy is 4-0 on them.
And their tactical conversion still off. And I'm almost certain that, I think it might have been Play-Doh 1, again, their timeout that they took earlier, I'm pretty sure in that match was also a failure. Don't quote me on that, that was just a vibe. I think that was the case. But it does continue that storyline, that tactical timeouts for this team continue to be rather ineffective.
Oh man, where do we point the finger for GG? And that's a serious question.
The whole team.
Everyone says, oh, what's going on with Tide? What's going on with this Oda drop? What's going on with the Tuhan pickup? No one questions that Tuhan is an incredibly talented player. I think that even when we saw Oda dropped for him, everyone still said, okay, well, if there's anyone going to drop it for, 2Han's talented. It's just more like, why? Why are we changing things when they're not broken? You have to keep up with the meta. You have to keep changing the way that you play the game in order to stay at the top. And GG have done that for the last nearly 2 years. And finally, they make the most drastic changes we've ever seen from them. And it's backfiring massively.
I mean, from the words of Oda himself, right? He said that the team wanted to make big changes. Sensed that maybe they weren't keeping up with the meta. That's why they got rid of him. Potentially, allegedly.
Oh, well,
It's not really showing in this game, though.
no. I mean, GG used to be such a good border team as well back when they were Bliss. Of course, the game has changed a little bit since the last times that they played it. They did get 4 rounds off of Space Station on this map at EWC. But I don't know what to say about this game other than Prodigy. They have earned the respect of everybody in this region with the first 4 rounds of border so far.
2Han does get the entry. The half wall and armory stack here from the defense. Kenzie doesn't want his position known, playing patient. The clash though from Fish now pushes forward, so some shield on shield action here.
And some strong language as well from that clash might be what GG need. I do like this clash pick. GG have struggled to deal with this Montaigne, and finally they do have something to show for it. Overswing from 2Han. Don't keep peeking this, Brendo. You have to respect Mackenzie. You have to respect Prodigy. They will take these fights and they will win them. An aggressive angle now. Trippin is daring to be fighting that deployable shield. He doesn't have any util to clear it as well, but he might be able to sneak in through Fountain. Gets desperate, gets around the shield. Is Wettables aware of it? I don't think he is. And this is going to be the easiest backstab. He doesn't realize. What is that potato from Wettables? He's so lucky to have won that fight. And GG with their best shot yet at winning a round, but still Prodigy have a 3-3.
Even Trippin can't believe that. He had a freebie on a platter. 30 seconds though, and it's still the Monty on the clash. A rotation likely to be forced here by Prodigy.
That's 55 HP that the clash has taken off that Monty so far. 60. Oh, he's going in for the kill. Yeah. Big from Fisho Guy. Finally, we're seeing a bit of confidence. And Wettables, again, his life saved when perhaps he would have died. It's all up to Faulty now in this 1 versus 2, and he doesn't have that diffuser. He doesn't have information. It was the Monty outside who had the kit. And here we go from Fisho and Wet. They will finally find their first round. But as you look at the faces of the GG players, you know that perhaps that's more of a sigh of relief than a victory.
Yeah, messy around. The massive whiff there from Wet. Trippin, I think, just got a little bit confused and maybe thought that he got like a bad timing and Wet was able to escape, or maybe towards Armory. I'm not entirely sure, but certainly didn't expect Wet to still be close. That was an awkward engagement up above. Probably the worst play around the Monty that we've seen from Prodigy so far by quite some margin. He just wasn't really getting much support over towards that Armory position once other places like that Trippin fight, etc. did break down, and all he could really do was kind of just stare at the clash for 2 minutes. So, a bit unfortunate. But for GG and their fans, a much needed round and something they can at least build off now.
Yeah, and we know that GG are capable of making a comeback from here, but that doesn't shake the fact that Prodigy have played very well in these first 4 rounds. And even in that one, I mean, yeah, there were some cracks. I think that they just couldn't deal with that clash. And it makes me wonder, is clash just something Prodigy are not comfortable dealing with when they've got that Monty? Because funnily enough, GG are not going to re-pick into it again. They're going to ditch the clash completely. And this lineup actually looks a lot more similar to what we saw in the first 4 rounds. And I can say something similar for Prodigy. We still have that Monty, and I don't exactly know how GG is going to deal with it.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
And it looks like we're going to see the same setup for the 3rd time with the 2Han and Wet cross, the Warden and the Legion respectively. A bit more aggressive though, initially from Wet. And it hasn't quite clicked so far. We'll see if it works out this time around. It looks like maybe the bolster thing's a little bit more over towards Break as well. Brendo on the Azami. Although I think that was a mainstay previously anyway. Yeah. So there's going to be, again, a big onus on Davey playing his role correctly here in trying to unlock that cross, get pressure in towards either Armory or Security, and that will likely be where they spearhead the attack. They could go for something alternative over towards an Archives, maybe try and catch GG off guard, but they found so much success on this particular attacking pattern. I see no reason why they would want to divert too much.
I do really like this setup from GG, even though we've seen it before from them. I wonder is Prodigy going to overthink things and start to switch it up? Because they've had such success going for these arm retakes with that Monty, and now I'm seeing the Montaigne in East Stairs.
Yeah. They could look to spearhead down the hallway in towards office or clear security from this direction as well. It does give them a couple of different options, and it does mean they may avoid Tuhan for the majority of the round, and they can lean again into the heavy smoke play that we've seen from the roster so far. Tuhan's still over towards main wall. So maybe Prodigy can use this as a difference maker. Sage jump out. Traded. But he does get 2. Trippin is on the ground. Probably resible though.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it there. Oh, big C4 misses. Trippin should be revivable here. Look at this aggression from Fisho guy. This is GG flicking the switch, and I'm already seeing that from Fisho last round with how aggressively he was playing that clash. Now he's doing so with the cap can. The revive comes off. GG may have put enough of a stop in this push. Dave taken very low. Brendo almost loses his life on that aggressive peak. Though these keeper barriers might keep him safe for a little bit longer. Tuhan finally takes down Mackenzie, and here we go. This is the aggression we needed to see from GG. They've risen back to life, and Prodigy have looked a little bit silly this round. A 1v4 for Trippin. Already low HP, already been on the ground once. He didn't realize that that was a head he saw. Yes, it was. And now he's low HP and taken down by Wettables. The resurrection that they needed, they're back into it, but still 2 rounds behind as we go into the second half.
Yeah, I wonder if Prodigy made that call before the prep phase or during the prep phase. Maybe they saw something they didn't like towards the more default push they were doing previously, but it was a big switch up there over towards top east, and it certainly didn't look convincing. The initial jump out from Sage certainly didn't help them, and a good solo play from him to open up the round from GG. Rest of the team then adjusted accordingly. Everyone pivoted into different positions and locked down that other side of the map over towards East Stairs. So good work from GG to salvage the half. They don't let it unravel too much. But Prodigy will certainly be looking to keep them honest here in the second half. They go in with the lead, and a really good opportunity here to snatch some points.
Yeah, all they need is 2 rounds. 2 rounds gets them points on the board and steals points away from GG as well.
And we've already had 1 OT
Yeah.
W so far this particular stage.
And it was against Supernova, who, by the way, are currently in 6th place on the standings, like barely scraping into playoffs with just 1 point of their own from that game. Prodigy yesterday was 7-1 by Chiefs, and here they are, already up 4-2 against GG. Similar case of what we said about Supernova, right? Like yesterday, they got 4 rounds but lost to Outlaws, didn't get any points away, and yet in Play Day 1, they stole points from GG.
Does a close result here change the complexion of tomorrow in the grudge match against the Chiefs?
Honestly.
Because they've had a very generous fixturing to start off this particular stage, GG. They have had arguably the 3 weakest teams, or at least 3 teams expected to be in the bottom half of the standings.
Well, yeah, they 7-0'd Odium, which is the worst team in the league. And
that was good.
We thought Prodigy was meant to be the 2nd worst team in the league, and yet maybe not. So, yeah, I think this does start to change that conversation around the GG versus Chiefs game, the Oda against his old squad. Oda's team is looking arguably better so far. Of course, they'll be tested today when they play Antic, and if GG drop points here, and then Chiefs beat Antic handily, I think that game tomorrow is looking even juicier.
Stay close to me!
So we do see the Montang employed here from GG for their first attack. It's Wettables to play the shield this time around. And they'll be heading the attack from this top east stairs position. Workshop defense off the rip here, so a little bit more of a tertiary site typically for teams of this level. And again, I don't mind that from Prodigy. Trying to throw off GG here in the first round of the second half. GG have done a decent job in getting a lot of map control uncontested, but still pressure inside of Armory that needs to be dealt with. Tuhan gathers some good information, and Fisher can look to secondary hard breach this position. And you can just feel, you can sense that pressure encroaching on this defense up above.
There's still no incision made yet. The drones have come in time and time again. More than half of the round has gone by, more than half the drones have gone. Finally, we see GG step their feet into this building, but they fall first.
Below.
Big from Dave from below. Great crossfires, great setups. Prodigy know how to play this. Fisho guy finally finds something, and a second one. He's fired up today. Not usually known for his entries. It's Tuhan who needs to help him out now. Fighting from behind, a player down. GG get close to this site. Tuhan's got to win his fight here, and he does. Big headshot. But meanwhile, he's lost his last teammate, and he doesn't have that diffuser. exposing his position. Mackenzie needs to be careful, but Bait comes big for the flank. 5 rounds on the board for Prodigy, and they cannot believe their luck. You wouldn't even call it luck. This is pure talent. These guys are here to disrupt the conversation around GAIMIN Gladiators.
Well, it's been a key part of this meta at the moment. How does the defense deal with either the Monty or the Blitz or both on the board? And the Monty that time around had such a minimal impact. A lot of trades coming through, and in that, Wet did fall. Rest of the team held pretty strong. Fisher was maybe in a potential position to line up 2 for a collab, but it didn't quite land. Meant that they were then at the disadvantage. And despite Tuhan lurking around and finding one on site, Diffuser stranded up above, and then a good flank for the final kill in that particular round. Again, really solid siege from Prodigy, and that's the tertiary ticked off.
Yeah.
So they can now go to arguably the 2 strongest sites typically. And yeah, again, it's just the support play around the shield just wasn't quite there. Fisher was potentially a little bit unlucky again not to get 2, but I think Prodigy being rewarded again for dealing with these threats.
I mean, the Monty is used to winning 1v1s in this current meta, right? Back before the shield rework, Monty didn't always win his knife 1v1s. It was very much a 50-50 depending on how good the opponent was and how good the Monty was. These days, Monty should be winning every melee 1v1. It's just the way that the buffs panned out, he's so much safer. Wedables lost it, and his teammate only came back for a trade. He wasn't able to get that kill before his teammate, the Monty, died. And that's just another red flag for GG. Look at this aggressive spawn peek here for Trippin. This is a very unorthodox one. You don't usually see this angle. Faulty also went for a spawn peek, but he lost his life for it. Is Trippin going to commit now? He does, and he takes down Fish. If there's anybody you want to kill, it's Fisher Guy right now. He's the one that breathed some fire back into this game for GG, and now he's off the board.
Yeah, that does weaken GG in the late round. That belt of utility with the Hive launcher very strong, and Fisher's ability to command his team in the late round as well is certainly not something to underestimate. He can still shot call from the grave, but he will be missed by GG. Shield though still standing. We'll see if Wedables can have a little bit more success this time around on the Monty. Brendo as well, lurking down below. Hasn't been a massive game by Brendo, but that's because his expectations are so high. Could be a threat though here with the Skeleton Key, vert out some key positions and maybe catch somebody off guard. Looks like GG, as is typical here on Border, have some really good drone positionings as well, so a lot of information available to try and activate that play from below.
But need I remind you, it needs to be 5 rounds in a row for GG to secure 3 points. 5 rounds in a row, not a single mistake can be made. They don't have that numbers advantage anymore, thanks to Fish getting spawn peaked, so they've got to make do with what they do have. And that's Tuhan finding Trippin. Big pick for them to find. Still pressure here with the Azami holding on to CCTV. Wedables is getting around it, getting up in his face. There's no one from the defense on that bulletproof camera that would have assisted in spotting the position of Tuhan, who is making his way forward. And now Tuhan is taken all the way deep into break, but Sage has been C4'd. Big one from Davey over the window. He's still been allowed to stay alive here in Archives, and he's allowed to fall back as well. But thankfully, we finally see Brendo come to life from below and put that vertical pressure on. Tui's also got the cross. It's up to just Bake now in a 1v3, and Tui's got him locked on down. GG. Start this trek back towards redemption. There's a hell of a long way to go.
Yeah, Mackenzie found himself in a really rough position there. I think he makes the right call by exiting security and holding his life for the late round, but then did fall to Brendo. And so, with that being the case, and with security then being free, Tuhan was able to take that ground, had a really nice long cross. The 417, as has been the case for quite some time now, very strong. The DMRs can certainly pack a punch. And by holding that cross, it really did limit the options available to the defense. And GAIMIN Gladiators find success. Still though, as you were alluding to, needs to be quite the streak of rounds.
Yeah.
Certainly to get a regulation win, never mind push the game to OT.
I think we can all agree that any result other than GG winning this outright is probably a loss in their books. This is Prodigy. They're going up against one of the bottom teams in the league. I think everyone from our talent power rankings had Prodigy in the bottom 2.
Yeah. And look, I mean, you can be on the cope as much as you want and say it's only best of ones, yada, 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 but I still
It's
think...
just a red flag. That's such a red
I
flag.
totally agree. I think a team of this caliber should be going in and be looking better than they have been. It's not even a case of this being a match where, regardless of where it ends now, we, say, we give concessions to GG and say, like, oh, Prodigy got lucky, they cheesed rounds, etc., etc. They got outplayed. Up to this point, they've been outplayed for the majority of this match, which is crazy.
The only yarn I can spin if you really want to get on the GG code is that this is not a map that GG like anymore. Like the last time they played it, they lost it to Space Station at EWC. The time before that, they almost lost it to Antic 8-7 in the EWC quals. That was the old Antic roster, I believe. And so they don't have the most phenomenal recent history. The time before that, it was at Manchester. They lost it to Secret. Once upon a time, this was one of their best maps, but for quite some time now, even in Stage 1, they almost lost it to Odium. They lost points in that game.
It wasn't their stick in Stage 1 that they have a 9-map pool there?
Yeah, exactly right.
So.
And we haven't seen them play Lair yet, so... and their border's not looking great. On the flip side, Prodigy look like this might be one of their best maps, and here comes Faulty, big kill onto Brendo. Another opening kill for Prodigy. They continue to dominate in this early round. Well,
I'm actually having a look across at Brendo's stats. Obviously, the HUD's a little bit buggy at the moment, so I haven't been tracking it. But at least heading into this particular round, I believe, 2-6 for Brendo. 2-6.
Wow. Insane.
He was the equal top-rated player in the league heading into tonight. And unfortunately, he hasn't found much success.
I'm reloading.
We know they can come back from losing opening picks, but they need to find trades. And like I've said, Fisho is the one that has really put the team on his back in these last few rounds. He's found a lot of really impactful kills, and that's a big one onto Faulty. Tuhan as well. So dangerous with this DMR.
He's been really good tonight. He's definitely stepped up when the team have asked him to. Mackenzie to fall off, so again plays his life like the last round.
Oh man.
Fake still above.
They really should have had that kill there. GG should know there's another player above, but Tuan goes down. Where is the communication? Where are the drones? Where are the refrags? I mean, because Baker's allowed to fall back.
That's what I love. This team is not afraid to fall off positions once they sense that they're not in favorable fights. It's something we don't typically see from inexperienced rosters, especially against strong teams. So it's a really nice change up. 3 versus 3, and Fisher's one shot. So just like that, Prodigy have been able to flip this round, arguably in their favor. I'm assuming they still have pretty good denial available in the hands of Davey, and Goomines are going to be a threat as well.
And yet for Prodigy, it's not fear, it's respect.
Oh, flank option as well.
And now Mackenzie is back up. He's been spotted. Ooh, almost catches the timing on that Monty. There's 2 of them up here. Ooh. Is GG just going to focus up and try and push the site? Fisher guy goes down to the gas, already low HP. And now, desperate from Wedables, Sage has come with him. Made this look perhaps possible, but Prodigy still have fiery positions. They've got crossfires and they've got information on site to try and go for floor banks, to try and go for these retakes. 20 seconds to play. And Sagen is the gun up. He's the one that has to make good on this promise from GG. Mackenzie coming around for it. A lot of damage done, but Sage does not want to overpeak. Here comes Bake to try and deny that plant, but Wedables has secured it. And now he can look for a post as the Monty. Stand up on site, stand tall, and continue this path for GG. Bring it back for them again. Here comes Sagen with another pick. It's just up to Bake now, and he's in a doomed position. Wedables isn't even going to one-shield and try and take this fight. He knows that he doesn't need to take any risks at the moment. This is the level that GG have been pushed to. They are not going to give up an inch because they know it's not worth the risk. And Prodigy, well, they've been good so far, but GG, oh my god. He even finds another kill. That's how good these guys are. GG are going to win the round regardless. But again, it was by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, just GG diff there in the late round. I was having a look across at the information available to both teams. The entire roster that was in the grave for Prodigy was watching teammates, so they had absolutely no additional layer of information available there. And with Sage lurking in towards that workshop position, it made it so difficult to commit to the retake, and we saw that. It was very difficult to try and gang up on that Monty by obviously trying to kill Sage first. On the flip side, the attack with plenty of drones up as well. You can see like one main lobby, there's another one east stairs, etc. So they may have even had a read on Mackenzie that entire time. I'm not entirely sure. Good attempt by Bake, but as you put pretty aptly, GG aren't going to let that round go astray. Wedables literally just stands there. It's all you have to do. Just wriggle a little bit left and right so you don't get shot on the side. It's a pretty easy round to secure.
I think it is funny though, because I think GG on another day against another team at a different scoreline probably would have had Sage swing and the Monty try and take the fight. Like that's probably the default way most people would play that. But they were so, I don't know if scared is the right word, but they were like, okay, do not screw this up.
Yeah.
No second chances here. Monty is going to sit there and not give him anything. You're not going to peek Sage. You're just going to hold back. I'll tell you if you need to come and help.
Yep.
A little bit of insight into maybe where the GG mental is at right now.
Well, can Prodigy get one more round on the board here and secure overtime? They probably still can't believe that they themselves find themselves in this particular position, but it is a reality. And I'm liking this composition that they're bringing here for round 10. Trap heavy with both the Frost and the Legion on the board. Bandit, an intriguing addition as well. Playing over towards customs at the moment and maybe Trippin using that utility over towards detention if I had to guess. Pulse also available, so Vert play on offer here for the defense. And they do have triple nitro. Wall has been dealt with. So again, not entirely sure where the batteries were actually utilized.
He's been spotted, but I don't think they're going to be able to try and confirm that kill, and he falls back and goes upstairs to look for that re-roam. Yeah, I'm a bit confused as to where those Bandit batteries are as well. At the end of the day, though, Bandit's got a C4 and a good gun, so if you just put those down static somewhere, it maybe slows down a little bit of time. And there you go. So we've got actually only one battery here on the armory wall. Perhaps the other three are on the triple wall of office. Oh, one here on archives. Thank you to the obs team for catching that.
They're playing GeoGuess R6 edition. Guess the wall.
Where are the other two then? Maybe they were on detention and they got cleared.
Yeah, maybe. Not too difficult to nade over the top, and Tuhan did use a frag grenade, so I will make that assumption. Mackenzie on the Frost was spotted out by that Lion Scam, but inside of archives, not immediately pressured. Aggressive peek here for Faulty.
Not a good one. Don't need to overpeak there, man. Half the round's done and we haven't seen an engagement yet. Here comes the Dokkaebi call. I can only assume this means GG are ready to make their move.
Maybe looking to pinch with Wedables through office at the same time.
Oh! There's a big pick for Brendo. The player in archives almost found that aggressive shot. It was Mackenzie here. And Trippin's still holding on to his half-wall position. Mackenzie's really feeling that pressure now.
And he got pinged not too long ago either.
I don't think he's going to be able to get out alive, but the question is, can he find a kill before he dies? The flash comes out. GG are not taking any chances. They make sure that they have the util to back it up. Big from Sage. Huge double kill entry. 1 versus 5 now for poor Davey. And he's not going to make it happen. He's spotted by Tuhan. Flawless round for GG. The first one of its kind in this match so far, as they finally bring it back to a tied scoreline. 5-5, we're at breakpoint. Can Prodigy guarantee themselves OT?
Yeah, much better there on the tertiary site from GG. Prodigy succumbed to a lot of pressure. They found themselves in a couple of particular positions defensively where they could not escape. And we have been praising them so far in this match in their ability to pressure and play fall off. They didn't have that available to them that time around. The nitro cells down below were mistimed. They had 3 nitros and none of them, to the best of my knowledge, had impact. That may have been the only way Mackenzie could have survived there, or at least maybe found one of his own, was with a good nitro from down below. It just never landed at the right time. And the rest of the flood there from GG much better. Now again, the asterisk of that being the tertiary site. The primary sites should, and I say that in italics because they lost them both last times, but should be better defensively here for Prodigy. They've also now seen what GG are bringing in terms of those attacks. So they're using this tactical timeout to discuss what they are going to do to counter it. Equally though, GG with an opportunity to quickly have a chat and work out how they themselves are going to approach this breakpoint.
Yeah. I think in terms of mental, in terms of the stress, like GG probably peaked at their worst mental after that 4th round when they took their tactical timeout and still lost it anyway. And now I think maybe they've found a little bit more comfort. They've just built up that momentum, 3 attack rounds in a row. Each one looking more convincing than the last for the most part. Of course, ending on a flawless round just then. Prodigy really need to make good on their own tactical timeout, especially because, as you said, this is back to the primary site, which ironically has been one of the worst bomb sites for both teams, funnily enough. GG also struggled here. They only won it once. But Prodigy, I don't know, man. This is your moment. I think regardless of the outcome, Prodigy will be quite happy with this game, but it will feel like such a missed opportunity if they don't walk away with some points.
Yeah, another overtime win. It's certainly not disastrous again. It's only play day
Attackers must locate
number 3. But it's just not quite the kind of level that certainly we expect from them. And I would hope that they themselves go into every play day expecting regulation wins. I'm sure they do. So we'll see how they go about converting this. Again, asking for 5 rounds in a row, 3-round streak at the moment for GG. These attacks continue to look better and better.
Well, if they come back from a 6-2 down, it would really tell you a lot about what 5-2 down. Would really tell you a lot about what GG are capable of. And a bit of a testament to their mental fortitude.
Attackers have located a bomb.
They look pretty collected now, pretty calm. Where is the intended push, though? I haven't quite figured it out yet. Every time Prodigy attacked, it seemed to be quite clear where their spear was going to go for. It looked like they were going to go for Armory pretty much all of these times. For now, I'm actually unsure what GG's intention is.
Yeah, GG have looked far more spread out on attack. Again, probably trying to implement more of a, quote-unquote, international meta. I don't want to say split theory, but that's what it is.
Bad words, split theory.
That's what it is. So we'll see if it's effective.
What? He's just snuck into Archives. He's planting. Minute and a half into the round. A kill as well for GG. Out of nowhere, they somehow have found an extremely favorable post-plant position, but still 4 players up. Big from Tsuhan on the cross. And Davey now in an awkward spot. He knows where that Monty is, but he's not going to be able to take that 1 versus 1. And Prodigy are looking quite lost. They really should have had some form of plant denial. Bake is taken out as he tries to go for that counter defuse. Huge round from Sage. He's on that Archives window and he's got the round on lockdown. All up to Davey. And finally, GG march their way forward. We see a little bit of energy from them, a little bit of something from Wedibles. It took a long time for them to wake up, but they're here to play and they found match point.
I think I saw Fisho pointing to his head there in the post-round cam, if I'm not mistaken. Probably saying, well, we've just outbrained them in that one. We have the privilege of all the outlines, and it was difficult for us to construct exactly what they were going for. And Prodigy certainly, Prodigy had absolutely no clue.
You know what's funny is on some of the previous defenses, Prodigy had like players down below, ready to deny plant, ready to crossfire, ready to deny entry. I think Prodigy are maybe starting to get in their own heads a little bit, because how do you let a Monty walk in and plant Archives without even knowing about it?
Yeah. A far cry from the kind of siege we saw in the first half from them, which was them accounting for a lot of variables in those particular rounds on the attack, but defensively maybe just not having the best of reads. So now the pressure is on. It's crunch time now for Prodigy. GAIMIN Gladiators at least now securing overtime, looking to walk away with all 3 points after a very intriguing start to this match.
Guaranteed after this game that GG will be at the top of the standings, at least for now. Of course, we've got 3 more games to play tonight, and they could be overtaken again. But a 3-point win, that's exactly what they're gunning for. And man, if GG can come back from losing the first 4 rounds in a row against Prodigy, and then their first attack as well, that would be a really good sign. We talked about red flags. A green flag is, what was that wise saying? It's not about never failing, it's about how you bounce back or something like that. I don't know. There's something poetic in there, something Ted Lasso-esque that GG could probably say after this game if they can win this in regulation.
Entry conversion has been critical in this match. Only 2 rounds so far. Has the entry not been converted into a round win. So that bodes really well for GAIMIN Gladiators. Round number 1, round number 9. The only 2 where winning the entry duel did not equate to a round win. So we'll see how GG now look to compound off that.
And a second one. Fisho guy is springing into it. He's into break room looking like he's pushing deep. Another big pick as Bake was pinched out from the Monty, pushing him at East Stairs, and the player down below of Brendo. GG have gone back to basics, and they're looking so good doing it. All up to Dave and Trippin to try and prevent this from being a peter out. A 1v5 for Prodigy's captain, and he's caught in the crossfire. The game is done and dusted. To close the match with a flawless round is exactly what the GG fans have been looking for. That cheeky smile on Fisho's face. He knew that they were in hot water, but he learned how to swim.
Well, that was a game of siege, I'll tell you that much. Prodigy phenomenal first half, but then just couldn't quite wrangle control back of the match in that second half. And for me, the big difference maker who really stepped up after a really slow start was Brendo. He played really, really well in that second half after, just struggling to get into the match. So good work from him. The rest of the squad stood up. Tuhan had a phenomenal performance as well. And GG with 3 points on the standings will be, quite pleased.
Very pleased, but still not quite the tale that we expected out of this game. We thought it was going to be a stomp in favor of GG. They ended up running it back in the second half, but it was much closer than we expected, and I'm sure that the guys on the desk will have more to say about it.
Believe me, there is a fair bit that we can talk about this matchup. It was a very, very close one, and Dev, to double down on your quote there, Sylvester Stallone, a great of the world. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. What is it, Jake?
It's about how you get back up.
It's about how many times you get back up and keep fighting. This is Motivational Tuesday here on the OCE League. But Vinny, it does just go to show that, there's realistically right now, there is no team that is untouchable.
No. And we saw Prodigy on their first game day, 7-1. I think it was Odium on that map.
Yep.
And it came down very much to the blitz in that time. GG came into that with an obvious game plan of banning out the blitz, but then Monty's still on the board.
Yep.
And Davey put it to great use. I mean, they had so much pressure on their attacks, and I think GAIMIN Gladiators didn't adapt quick enough to the Monty. Obviously, they brought it every single round. It looked like, I think when it really flipped was when they brought the Clash, and it was like almost a direct counter to the Monty. They tried Legion, they tried a few different things, but once the Clash came out, then it looked like they could sort of control the pace of those attacks.
Xenox, 2 games out of 3 for GAIMIN Gladiators where they go down 3-0 in the first, 3 rounds, I should just say. Concerning signs?
Nah, not really. I mean, if you want to be pessimistic, sure, you can find elements of concern. But I think when you kind of look at even historically for this team, going all the way back, and a great reference is always when you guys on Kelton's Knights took them down to open up one of the stages. Of course, they were in their boot camp and all of those issues, but it really does go to show they're human. Even if we go back to stage 1 this year, they started to drop some maps.
Yeah.
And teams started to get a lot closer to them. I think it's just better for the region in general that these guys are not infallible.
Yep.
But I think what stands out for me is you're 5-2 down. It's not looking great.